Hello, and welcome to Module 4. So this is a lot like last week was, as far as it's pretty much just you going and exploring things and then coming back and telling your classmates what you found. The idea with this is we're going to be looking at applications rather than tools, which again is a vague definition. An application, I think I describe it as a place you can turn something into something else. Okay, but an application basically does one thing, but it does it pretty well. So I have a list of a bunch of things that have been popular with students who've taken this course before. So these are kind of, the basics, or at least, examples of basic tools. If you want to go further afield and look at some new stuff and bring it back, that's lovely. If you kind of want to just master sort of these specifics, that's fine too. Go with your own pace. This is not about what you're covering. This is about making it useful for you. You know what the time constraints are. I trust you. So I have a couple of resources. Some of them were from the same ones from last week, the AASL best websites, and the We Are Teachers list, because those are endless, and you will find things that you might want to explore in there if you'd like to. I also have two articles. One is Kelly Jensen's What Makes These Librarians TikTok, because TikTok is an app. I mean, it's, there on the phone. But it also is a way of creating media. So you can, if you want to take the time to look at this now and then have more time in the media week, you can do that. Or if you want to wait and look at it during media, either way, it's appropriate. And the article is neat. It's a really library specific, fun look at how librarians are taking this very popular application that kids are obsessed with and I can barely function with, and using it for educational purposes. I also have an article from Joyce Valenza, who I absolutely love. She's a professor at Rutgers, but she is, just was a huge pioneer in online technology for librarians. And she has a bit about app smashing, about ways of keeping your apps together, organizing those. So those are two articles if you want to take a look at them. And then I broke the apps into a few different categories. So the first one is fun with pictures. I would like you to take a look at Flickr's Commons. That is a great resource for pictures that you can use as long, with attribution, that you don't have to worry about copyright and all that. It's a great place to go. And there are Library of Congress partnered with them, and there are some other institutions that have partnered with them to make these things available. So do take a look at Flickr's Commons. And then Big Huge Labs is just a really fun place where you can make stuff with pictures. And there are a bunch of different places you can go to do this. Big Huge Labs is the one that I've used, and it's a nice warehouse, but feel free to look at other places as well. Then troubleshooting and brainstorming. These are kind of just, I think of these as library administration tools. I put in Bubblus, Doodle, SurveyMonkey, and Zamzar, and those four are just really helpful, things to help you keep your library going. Then I put a bunch under presentation. Not presentation as far as PowerPoint presentation, but just ways of sort of putting things together in a visual format. I've got, Flipgrid on there, which is also theoretically multimedia, but I think that it's specific enough, and there are so many ways to use it in education that it's worth taking a look at this week. I did put Quivervision, which is an augmented reality company. I don't know what you call it. I do not get augmented reality, but people keep telling me, "Oh, it's huge. It's going to be huge." And I do think it might be more elementary friendly. I wanted to throw that on there in case you had an interest. So the plan for this week, actual product that I need from you, is of course your discussion. I just, the discussion is a delicate flower, and I just kind of backed the car right over it last week with my inability to publish the folder. I am so sorry about that. So, but that's the most important thing for me every week is the discussion, is making sure that you guys feel like you're in a community where you have back and forth. So don't think that you have to finish a bunch of work before you discuss. You can go in there with a question. So please try to keep the discussion, and again, my fault last week, but try to keep the discussion going throughout the week. So in there, you're just going to come back and tell your tales and share things that you found interesting. And then in your blog, it's of course your record of whatever your journey was for that week. But I do want you this week just to take 8 to 10 different apps that you looked at. And they can be the ones I listed, they can be ones you found on your own. Put live links there so that they're easy to get to in case you make them sound so interesting that I want to go. And then give an educational use for them, either for administrating your library or classroom use, for you or for teachers. And I described it as be specific but not detailed. So, you know, say what you could do with this, but you don't have to give me, you don't have to set it into a lesson. We're eventually going to build lesson plans later, a few modules from now. But for now, just be, when you're looking at these things, your primary way of viewing it should be, can I use this in my library, for my teachers, for my students? So that's kind of, I just want you to have those eyes on these apps as you're using them. All right, I'm talking really fast because we're having a Google Meet in 3 minutes. So hopefully I'll see you there, and I will see you on the discussion this week. I hope you have a great one. Bye.